How are your friendships? Like really, how are your friendships doing? Are you satisfied? Are you content? Do you feel that there is a gap? Do you feel like you're the only one who shows up, who calls? Do you feel like your friends don't push you? Or are they pushing you? I don't know where you are with your friendships, but I believe this video is going to really, really help you. I'm going to change the way you view your friendships. You see, we were taught that you need to find good friends. But it starts with you being a good friend. You could be looking for something that you are not even able to give others. So what ends up happening is you become a parasite. I'm sorry to use these strong words, but you're looking for something that can give you something that you're not willing to give others. And we started too strong, but I picked up this book maybe 3-4 years ago. It was recommended by Jackie Perry. I was watching one of her YouTube videos, and she talked about this book called Friendish by Kelly Needham. I immediately bought it because this was the first time that I saw a book that was talking about friendships. And if you think about some of the most painful relationships that you have experienced are friendships that have fallen apart and you didn't know how to handle them. You know, even up to today, maybe you don't even know what to do about those friendships. You know, another one is, relationships which come from friendships. So I believe friendships are one of the most important relationships that we should all know how to handle. And the best way to experience rich and wholesome friendships is by you knowing how to be a good friend. It starts with you knowing how to become a good friend. The problem is nobody ever taught us what it takes and what it means to be a good friend. So we are all constantly trying to find that friend, and we are not putting the work to become that friend. I'm making a big assumption here, but I want to talk to a very specific person who has been struggling with their relationships. And so I'm going to just highlight the back of this book. Please go find this book. I would rate it might be like a 8 out of 10, but the gold is at the back. Like, I got this book and it has some really, really helpful tips. But I'm just gonna, just highlight the back because that's where like it really gets juicy. And so I'm gonna share some things and you're gonna try and tell me if you see yourself. Yeah. So there'll be a category here: healthy versus unhealthy friendships. So as I read this, you want to start moving from the unhealthy sides of friendships and start being intentional about being a healthy friendship. Okay, being a healthy friend. Okay, number 1, unhealthy friendships, they reduce our desire for God. Healthy friendships, they fuel our desire for God. Number 2, unhealthy friendships, they make much of one another. Healthy friendships, they make much of God. And this one is a nice one. Unhealthy friendships, they foster exclusivity. Healthy friendships welcome others in. And when I read this, I was like, oh my goodness. We were always taught to have like these cliques of, this is my best friend. And the moment that best friend finds another best friend, it's an issue. Because now you're treating that friendship like it's a covenant relationship, that no one else can come in between you. And so, my goodness, when I learned that, I was like, God help me. For the friendships that I have, let me not hold or hug them so tight that when I see my best friend hanging out with another friend, that I start feeling jealous or I start feeling some type of way. And that is a clear indicator of helping you know that you could be an unhealthy friend, not an unhealthy person, but when it comes to the sector of friendships, you could be fostering unhealthiness, if that is even a word. Okay, so healthy friendships, they welcome others in. All right, let's continue. Unhealthy friendships, they say, I am your place of belonging. Healthy friendships say God is your place of belonging. Okay, I like that. Unhealthy friends, they reach out to friends before praying to God. Yeah, you're right or die. Yeah. Healthy friendship, they look fast to Jesus in hard times. All right. The next one is unhealthy friends, they feel threatened and jealous when others make new friends. And that's what we were talking about, that exclusivity, you know, as opposed to being inclusive. Healthy friendships, they celebrate when others form new friendships. This, you have to be truly authentic. Will you, right now, I want you to think, if you have a best friend, I want you to think that your best friend, and would you celebrate if you found out that they have found another good friend? If the answer is no, then we need to put in some work. The other one, unhealthy friendships have lots of expectations and rarely satisfied with friendships. Healthy friendship, they recognize there is no perfect friend except from Jesus. Let's keep going. I have let me see, I'll read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a lot more, but let me just highlight these ones that I underlined. Unhealthy friendships, they feel like they own each other and are unwilling to let friendships change. Friendships do change. Seasons come, people move out of state and move out of the country, and that proximity is no longer there. You guys used to see each other all the time, but life has happened. You've got a job transfer and so many things happen. And it doesn't mean that our friendship ends. Maybe it changes from the perspective of we're not seeing each other as often as we used to. And when you get on the phone call, let's stop this thing of hey, you've been, I'm trying to find an English word for this. Why are you so lost? Or almost like a blame game here of why are you so quiet? It's why are you so quiet? And I don't mean any bad, but it's just something. After reading this book, it really opened my eyes, because I used to start like that, hey, umepotea. That's Swahili word of you've been lost, man. What's going on? And there's nothing wrong with that, but not from a point of making somebody feel guilty. Yet you also did not reach out. Yeah. And you don't even know why they did not reach out. Sometimes people don't even have a reason. That's what I came to realize. People don't even have a reason. They didn't mean anything. They meant well. It's just that we've not caught up. Just life has happened. Yeah. And again, I think on the other side, if you're my good friend, we should be keeping in touch. I think there's some level of effort that I also want to be conscious about, which I'm also guilty about, because sometimes you just soaked into your own world and you forget to reach out to your friends. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Unhealthy friendships, they are afraid of friends getting married or growing closer to their spouses. This really happened to me. I remember in our circle of friends, we were amongst the first ones who got married. And I didn't know either. My wife didn't know either. And you're excited and you're, finally, get to enjoy life. Yeah. And you're trying to integrate the both families. And so most of the phone calls that you used to spend with your single friends are now going to trying to, blend this new family, get to know each other, get to visit each other. And there's also this dynamic that people forget about. One of you will have to switch churches. And so now you're no longer in the church that you used to go, and now you're finding a new family. There's a lot of things that are going up and down, a lot of things that are changing. On top of that, maybe you guys get a kid, which happened to us. And in a year's time, we had our daughter. And so now we are there's now this new relationship that we need to form. And so some of my friends, some of my friendships, they fell off because of that. And, I don't blame anyone. Now that I know this, I know better. Things do change, The other thing, which is very dangerous, unhealthy friendships, they start using romantic language. Yeah. Reserve romantic language for dating or marriage. That's a healthy friendship. All right, I won't talk much about that. Let's go. The other one is they lose interest in other friendships when they find their BFF. This is very dangerous. Somebody was telling me sometimes fallen friendships are as painful as a divorce. Is as painful as a divorce. That's why when friendships fall off, like you almost can't even breathe. And this is the danger that is caused by you losing interest in other friendships. All right? Godly friendships, they know that they need more than just one friend in their life. All right, the next one. Unhealthy friendships, they only befriend people who they can help. That's painful. That's painful because now we are crossing like some dangerous territories here of personality issues. You don't want to be that friend that only enjoys friendships because you are the guy who can help everyone else. You don't want to form friendships based on you can help people. The other one is unhealthy friendships are unwilling to be a friend when they are doing more of the giving. Unhealthy friendships are unwilling to be a friend when they are doing more of the giving. Again, this going back to this, I'm looking for good friends, And basically, sometimes if you're not careful, you are looking for somebody who can give you more than you can give. It doesn't apply all the time, but we need to be careful. Are we looking for something that we cannot provide for others? All right. The other one is, so the opposite is good friends. Good friends are willing to sacrificially love others even in hard seasons. All right. The next one is unhealthy friendships. They pick and choose friends based on how they benefit them personally. Healthy friendship, they befriend those who are right in front of them, regardless of the benefits. All right, next. Unhealthy friendships, they avoid forming friendships with people who are different. This one woke me up. All my friends were Kenyans for the longest time. Until I met my wife, and she had like Ugandan friends, she had like from Zimbabwe friends, she had like Tanzanian friends. Like it was a mixture of friendships. I came from a place of like I just knew Kenyans. My only friends were my Kenyan friends. And you want to diversify. You want to interact with different cultures so that your mind is opened up. One of the reasons why most of us are not experiencing, I don't know how to say this, our marriages are not thriving, it's because we are closed-minded. And one of the ways to open up your mind is to either travel, and if you can travel, interact with other cultures. Be very curious. Be very curious about their culture and the way they do things. It opens up your mind so that you're not so closed-minded. The problem is most of us, not all of us, most of us only live in our own worlds. We never get to step out of our own world and enter somebody else's world. The whole day, 24/7, you're in your own world. And the danger of being in your own world is that you expect things to happen the way you see them. You see, this is my hand, but this is the back of my hand. For you to be able to see this side of my hand, you will have to turn around and come see it. Or you will have to allow me to shift things so that you can see my perspective. And most of us really, 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 really struggle when it comes to letting go of our perspectives, our ideas, and embracing other people's suggestions and ideas. And so you will hear people say, I consider that, but I don't usually do it like that. Or, that's a good idea, but you'll hear the word but in their statement all the time whenever somebody is offering a suggestion. And sometimes we don't see ourselves. And so sometimes I'm seated down and I'm like listening to people now that I know, yeah? And I'm not perfect by all chance, yeah? But I am striving to be a better friend for myself, but also for others. And so now I pick up these things, and sometimes I extend grace because I know that I used to be that. I used to be that person who's like, hey, but, you know, and you really, really struggle when your idea is not embraced. Yeah. Or you will embrace somebody else's idea, but you'll circle back to this is how I usually do stuff. And so that's very dangerous, especially in your relationship, because people don't feel heard. People don't feel heard. And it's also a danger for you because you think you're taking somebody's perspective, but you're not. Really, you're not taking their perspective, because your own perspective is overriding, and that's why you feel the need to bring, this is the way I do things. Well, it's different if you bring in your ideas and you're collaborating to come up with a better idea. One of the things that I was taught when I was doing a negotiation class, they say that always separate people from problems. And now sit on the same side with your wife, with your friend, and now address the problem. Now you will start generating solutions that are not tied to you. Because if you're on the other side and I am pointing on the problem, there is a chance that I'll point at you as the problem. But when you come to this other side, we've separated the two of us, and now that's the problem that we are addressing. Now we can generate different ideas or interventions, and we'll be like, okay, let's start with number one. It doesn't matter who came up with the idea. We're just going to start with number one. Did it work? Did it not work? Okay, let's throw it away. Let's pick the other one. So we are throwing piles of interventions into these pots that we can be able to use to tackle that problem. That's how you collaborate. All right, let's keep going. All right, we're almost done. Unhealthy friendships, they avoid hard conversation. They prefer being fake to being honest. Healthy friendships are willing to speak the truth in love to a friend and engage in conflict. Now, here's the problem. I used to be this person, and to an extent, I am still this guy. The Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. Peacemakers. Not peacekeepers. I am a peacekeeper. I love peace. I don't want people to argue. I just want people to be okay. But this book really challenged me and the Bible to be a peacemaker. For you to be a peacemaker, you will have to engage in conflict. And conflict is not a bad thing. We were taught to avoid conflict. There is a healthy way to talk to each other and reason. Come and let us reason together. That's what the Bible says. You can engage in a healthy way. And one of the things that this is the biggest predictor of a marriage that is going to be successful and one that is not going to be successful. And this is it. How long and how quick do you repair your relationship, especially after, I don't want to call it a fight or an argument. How quick do you resolve that? They call it rupture. And so whenever there's an argument and you guys don't see eye to eye, the relationship starts to rip. And so how quickly do you catch it so that it can heal? It's like you're getting a cut here. How deep will you allow for the cut to go deep? Because the moment you stop talking about it to resolve it, the cut gets deeper. And this is where resentment comes. And then it takes a long time to be able to come back together because it took you a long time to want to resolve this. So my question to you, if you want to know if your relationship is healthy, how long does it take you for you guys to come back together and reconcile? Because if you do not, it's going to bring resentment. It's going to drive you guys away from each other. And it's going to be really, really hard. And you know what I'm talking about. If you're mad at your spouse or your friend for like a week, my friend, it's going to be so hard for you to come back. Why? Your ego, pride is just stacking up every single day that you choose not to reconcile with your friend or with your partner. Let's keep going. Unhealthy friendships, they experience frequent and intense conflict in friendships. Healthy friendships are slow to anger and quick to forgive. So as I'm sharing this, these are the prerequisites of a good friend. Are you quick to forgive? Are you slow to get angry? Because now you're expecting your friend to be like that, your good friend that you're looking for, but you're not willing to forgive quickly and to be slow in anger. You're not willing to be inclusive in your friendships. All right, we're almost done. One more. Good friends rejoice to see others step in to help a friend. Unhealthy friendships, they feel threatened when other people help their friend. I think it all circles back to the question that I posed to you guys. Are you willing to be the friend that you are looking for? Because if you're not willing to be the friend that you're looking for, there's a high chance you will be a parasite. And people who understand, who are intentional about being the best friend that they can be. And this, we're talking about people who will give you an ear and they will listen to you. They will not judge you. These are people who have put in work. And so you can't just come and just be a taker from them. They smell you from 100 miles away. And they're gracious enough to be able to hold space for you. But I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to level up and be the friend that you are looking for. I'm telling you, it's going to make life so easy. It's going to make life easy for you who is in this journey of becoming a friend, not friendish. But it's also going to make it easier for the people who are putting in the work to be the best versions of themselves. You see, one of the things that I tell people who are preparing to get married, or who are looking, or who are single, this is the best advice that I can give you. Look for somebody who is invested in growth. Somebody who is invested in their growth is a good candidate for a healthy friendship and a healthy marriage. The problem why most even marriages end is people stop growing. People stop growing. I am guaranteed that if I marry somebody, I'm guaranteeing you, if you marry somebody who is invested in growth, it means that they are looking up to someone who is a leader, who is investing in them, or who is mentoring them, or who is coaching them. They are teachable. That's why I'm telling you, growth is one of the key characteristics that you should look for if you're a single person, or if you're looking for friendship. This person, because they invested in growth, they are surrounded by mentors, they are surrounded by leaders, they are also answerable to God. If they love God, God is a key person in their life. Because there's no growth without leadership. There's no growth without coaching. There's no growth without repentance. There's no growth without receiving feedback. There's no growth without putting your defenses down. There's no growth without somebody who is aware of their defenses. So for growth to happen, all these requirements have to take place. Humility, there's no growth without humility. Because the Bible says, humble yourself before the Lord. But if you have pride, He will humble you. So there's no way you will meet somebody who is invested in growth and they're not someone. And sometimes people invest in one area of growth. I'm talking all around it. People who they just want to be better. That is a good candidate. And people who are invested in growth, they repel people who do not want growth. So I'm challenging you, because sometimes we say, and I'm addressing singles right now, sometimes we'll say like, oh, there are no good men out there, they're no good, but you're not doing anything to be the best version of yourself. You've put a lot of energy focusing on like, I am looking. Start being, and that will attract the person that you're looking for. I believe with all my heart, what you sow is what you reap. Sometimes you are sowing seeds and you're harvesting them, and that's why it's taking too long. Sometimes, I'm not saying that's all the time, but sometimes. Especially if you know that this message is for you and you know that you've not been doing the work, could it be that if you start this journey of being the best friend that you can ever be, then you will quickly attract the person that you're looking for. Could it be that if you start investing in your growth as a married couple, you'll start enjoying your relationship even more? Because you guys will be able to start accomplishing unimaginable things. But the enemy will come and derail your growth, and you'll stop growing and you'll get stuck. And I believe like married couples are one of the most powerful people in the world. But the enemy will come and... So, grab this book. I'll leave a link below. Grab it. It's by Kelly Needham. There'll be a link in below. Go get it. It's a nice book. It's a good read. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But at the back, has some really challenging statements. Anyway, that's about it. I will see you in the next one.